What's going on, everybody? GemMint here with today's new comic book day reviews for Wednesday, September 14th. As always, gonna go through this week's comics, at least the ones that I read, as spoiler-free as possible. Before we get started, I have a couple of quick announcements. First of all, we have a new Indiegogo campaign that we're gonna launch with Dynamite Entertainment on Monday. It's my daughter's second published cover for Vampirella Year 1, and it's an Ultimate Fallout 4 homage. I know, it's that homage, but this was something that we had in the works for months and months, I think even at the beginning of the year, and it's not a cover that you really see too many homages for, not like Spider-Man 1 or ASM 300, so I thought this was an amazing cover by my daughter Jade Hope, and like I said, Monday the campaign will go live. You can RSVP for it now. We have the regular cover, we have the sketch, we have a white background, blue background, virgin covers. She's also going to be doing remarks and signatures, and there are CGC options. So RSVP and check out the campaign that goes live on Monday. The second announcement is I will be live on Whatnot later today at 5 p.m. Eastern. And since we have some modern DC and Marvel variants, we're going to do some Marvel and DC giveaways as well. We have this Toronto Fan Expo Batman 423 foil cover that we're going to give away. First appearance of Doomsday, and we have some other goodies as well, but most importantly, the first appearance of the Thunderbolts in honor of the D23 announcement with that new lineup for the MCU. So make sure to come check me out on Whatnot. It's only for an hour, but it kicks off Whatnot Wednesday, which is 8 hours of live comic book auctions. $1 starts, 15 seconds, sudden death sometimes, so make sure to come check it out. All right, with that out the way, let's get into the reason why you're here, the new comic books. And speaking of Vampirella and Dynamite, they have a new #1 that comes out this week, Vampirella Mind Warp Issue 1. Read this one, I really dug it. You don't really need to know any Vampirella lore or history. This story involves this old sorceress who's trying to get Vampirella into her lair, and we find out the reasons why throughout the story, of course, but Mind Warp has to do with a time travel going back to 1969. This sorceress wants Vampirella's body so that she can inhibit it and live forever instead of constantly having to jump from human body to human body. I like the lore. I like the change in tone from the present day to the past, because she starts off almost like a secret agent with like this all red patent leather, long sleeves, long pants. And then when we get back to the 60s, it's your traditional Vampirella outfit. So issue #1, you might as well give it a shot. And then we're going to move on to King Spawn issue 14. King Spawn is dope. This is all about Al Simmons trying to resurrect Wanda, and there's only one person that can stop him. Somebody that has ties with Wanda as well. Great stuff with Clown here. They really fleshed this character out and made him seem much deeper than he originally was when Spawn first started. Amazing artwork, interesting story. I'm sick of dead zones, but I do like where King Spawn has been heading. Which brings us to the Silver Coin, issue 14. Michael Walsh, of course, but he's joined this time by Hornsock Pinchot. I know I pronounced that one wrong. You know what? This was probably my least favorite issue of the Silver Coin, man. I really didn't like the whole living through the pandemic thing and like all this like real world political stuff that was in here. Although the twist at the end, which this, what this book is known for, was pretty cool, and how this guy was blinded by the Silver Coin. The Silver Coin kind of playing a backseat role in this issue, but I did like how it ended, but I was reading it kind of like, one of these. Then we have A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. I think this is the last issue. It seemed like it. This is issue 11, which kind of seems like a weird issue to end on. Rick Remender, Andre Lima, Arujo. They're joined by Chris O'Halloran and Russ Wooten. I didn't credit the other creators on the previous books because they weren't on the cover. But this is 10 years later. The character that you see on the cover is the little boy that was rescued by our main protagonist throughout this story. And it really focuses around this super rich guy that was responsible for the death of his mother, and kind of seeing how the uber rich have to go to jail and how really it's like a luxury resort. Kind of gruesome, but a fitting ending if it was one. And then we have Do a Power Bomb. We're on issue 4, I believe. Yeah, by Daniel Warren Johnson, Mike Spicer. I love this series so much, man. It has so much heart. It's so action-packed. It's everything that like nonstop Spider-Man and all-out Avengers wanted to be. You feel the rush of adrenaline in these fight scenes. And again, I'm not even like a big wrestling guy, but the artwork, the heart between our main character and her tag team partner, who she still doesn't know who he is, trying to win the soul of her mother back, right? Trying to get her mother resurrected by this necromancer who's putting together this wrestling tournament, and all of these different universes are competing. It's an awesome story. And the last one from the indies, we have Seven Sons Part 4. This is the Jay Lee book with Robert Wyndham and Kevin Mao. It's getting interesting, man. And, it's funny because they're called the seven descendants of Jesus Christ. And it almost reminds me of The Boys. Well, things aren't really going so well for the seven. We have one that's on the run, and we're kind of learning where their lineage truly comes from, and it has to do with clones and things of that nature, working with other religions, because when these seven were announced to the world, it kind of really caused a rift in the world between other religions, as you can imagine, because they're essentially saying that Christianity was the right religion, and that caused a ripple. But I think we're finding out that these are not really the disciples that we thought they were. Interesting story, great artwork. Jay Lee doing covers and interiors. Got to check it out. Moving on over to Marvel, we have the all-new, all-different Savage Avengers, not to be confused with All Out Avengers, but this is issue 5, and I believe this is the last issue of the miniseries. I really have to start reading those previews so that I understand how many issues there are going to be, and sometimes the synopsis helps because I didn't even know what was going on with that Batman One More Day thing. Anyway, man, epic, huge battle, a big confrontation between the Miles Morales of the future who became Deathlock, having to team up with the person that he was sought out to capture, which is Conan. And, you have this great group of heroes. It's Agent Anti-Venom, you have Daredevil Elektra, Weapon H, the Black Knight. The whole thing was this huge, epic battle. And I really dug it, man. I liked this book, and I would like to reread it, man. I would like to get the trade of that and check it out. Then we got Predator issue 2, Ed Brisson, Kev Walker, and Frank D. Armada. I had to really quick read issue 1 and then read this one to get caught up. I don't know how I missed issue 1. I think it was during that time where I was a little bit behind. So the book focuses around this character that you see on the front, this girl, or this woman who, as a girl, a predator killed her mother and her father, and it was kind of her fault, man. Her running off and playing on whatever planet they were in, and getting hunted by this predator. So ever since then, her and her ship, which has this AI that has basically raised her since, are trying to hunt down that one predator, and they're able to find out where the predators hunt by capturing one of their artifacts. So she's looking for that one predator. She's got on like 12 kills or so. So it's leading up to that kind of confrontation. I think it's only a 6-issue miniseries. I did kind of see the synopsis of that, but I dug it. Then we're on to Acts 4, Judgment Day. This is Kieran Gillen along with Valardo Chatti and Marte Garcia. So this one is basically the celestial judging just different people throughout Earth. Captain America trying to hold everything together, trying to give his powerful speeches and assure everybody this isn't the last day on Earth. And I thought it was really cool, how this celestial was judging and the reasons why. And it has like this surprise cliffhanger at the end of this issue that I didn't really see coming. Everything that I liked about this issue was kind of like a spoiler, so I can't really get into it, but it was also like this big, epic, battle type of scene with, like I said, a shocker of an ending. On to X-Men 92, issue 5, Steve Fox, Salva Espin, and Israel Silva. So, I almost gave this one pick of the week, and it's so crazy because I haven't really been digging this series whatsoever, and I think the last issue, issue 4, I really didn't like. They are taking the Hoxpox lore and changing it and tweaking it a little bit. In this run, Jubilee is the Moira McTaggart. She's the mutant that's on her 10th life, and we have the first kind of dealings with Nimrod within this series and him taking out mutants and a lot of stuff that I don't really want to spoil, but I really dug this issue. I like Dark Beast. I like this version of Krakoa. I'm interested to see if they adapt this in the new animated series. I kind of really dug where it went, even though I really didn't like how they handled the Hellfire Gala in the last issue. But man, issue 5 was solid. On to Amazing Spider-Man issue 9. This is by Zeb Wells, Patrick Gleason doing the artwork here, and Menez, a Wolverine team up, and I feel like super lost. I feel like this issue is like a couple of months late. It's spilling out of the Hellfire Gala. It's dealing with Moira McTaggart possessing Mary Jane. Like, I thought we've already done all this stuff. Didn't Mary Jane and Black Cat have their own series where this whole thing was resolved? It feels super late. It was uninteresting. I liked the aspect of Spider-Man getting his ass kicked, whether it was by Tombstone or by Vulture. And then this one is just like, took a few steps back. And then we're on to Venom, issue number 10, Al Ewing, joined by Currie and Sinclair. Man, this was a mind trip of an issue, man. So big revealing issue of what's going on in that garden with all these kings in black. I'm not going to spoil it, but it was like definitely unexpected. What can I even say here that's not a spoiler? It was all about that. It was all about who these other creatures and symbiotes are and what their ties are to Eddie Brock. I liked it, man. I dug it. It's freaking out there, this book, man. Which brings us to X-Men Red, issue 6, also by Al Ewing. He's joined by Caselli and Blee. Man, this was an epic issue. We're on Arakko. Uranos, Thanos' grandfather, has destroyed Arakko, and we have Magneto without a heart, using his magnetic powers to keep his blood pumping, teaming up with Storm in this intimate type of team up. The way that they have to work together, it's almost like they have to be an item. And I thought it really was emotional. I thought it was big, and they had to destroy this huge gorilla plastic creature that keeps reviving itself. All of Uranos's, which I don't know if I'm saying that right, creatures have the ability to self-heal. So another big, huge, epic type of fight issue, but it had some touching stuff with Storm, the leader of Arakko, and Magneto. Then we got a new #1, Midnight Suns, issue 1. This is by Sachs, Zagaria, and Fabuela. And shout out to David Nakayama with the regular cover. You typically only see him on like exclusive variants, so that was pretty cool. So here's our new Midnight Team Suns. You got Wolverine, Magic, Spirit Rider, Blade, and a couple of other characters. Basically, everybody has this vision of this kind of end-of-the-world scenario that Wolverine's in the mix with, and then, boom, we come back to reality, and we try to figure out what does that vision mean, and what does it have to do with Wolverine and the rest of these Magic-based characters. It also heavily ties in with Strange Academy, so if you're reading that, it might hit a little bit harder. I haven't been reading that issue since I think the first arc, but it surrounds one of the children from the school who apparently is the key to everything, so it was an okay first issue. The last one I read from Marvel was Daredevil 3, Chip Zdarsky with D. LaTorre and Wilson. This was an okay issue as well. I mean, I don't know. I kind of would have liked more from this renumbering or new volume of Daredevil. This really surrounds the Storm Winds, that old kind of billionaire couple who's secretly in control of everything, and how Luke Cage, as mayor of New York, is trying to use his office to actually help instead of just fighting as a vigilante. So, yeah, it was kind of slow. I mean, Matt Murdock is just Daredevil now. He's also trying to recruit that Agent Cole from the first or second or so arc of the last volume. It was all right. Basically, they're going to threaten Daredevil, and he's going to do something about it. Then we're on to DC. So we have Jurassic League, issue 5 of 6. I love Jurassic League, man. This is by Johnson, Gideon, and Spicer. So we have this dark side monster. I mean, it's basically a simple Justice League story, but you have them as dinosaurs and dinosaur type names and everything. So the dark side dinosaur is here. You have the Joker Raptor, and we're coming to a head here, basically assembling this Jurassic League so that they can combat the most powerful being that they've ever encountered in Darkseid. Great stuff with the Supersaurus character, the Superman dinosaur, and his pa Kent. So it's got a lot of heart, man. I really dig this series, and I love the creative team. Which brings us to this new Flash miniseries. This is issue 1 of 3 by Porter, Ortiz, and Ferraro Jr. It's an official movie tie-in, which I was kind of turned off by. I'm like, oh, that's what this is? But it was a really good issue, man. It doesn't really feel like the movie, although you get the feel that it's that version of the Flash in the sense that he's a new hero. He only really has done battle in the events of the Justice League movie, and he's trying to get Batman to train him because he's failing against this huge Steel type of character. Great artwork here. They did a really great job of kind of showing him in fast motion with these jagged lines and making his arms look like they're moving really fast. I don't know how to describe it. Actually, I should probably just show you. Well, even here, just Bruce Wayne training Barry Allen. You can see how they kind of draw his hands and feet. They do that a lot throughout this issue. And I thought it was really good. You had like this sympathetic villain that he's really just trying to help his father. And so far, so good on this 3-issue miniseries. And before we get into the pick of the week, open enrollment is active for the Comic Time 101 Mystery Mail Call. Not only will he send you comics at random, but he's got a new amazing exclusive variant for Invincible, issue 1 with a wraparound cover by John Boy Myers. There are 4 different versions of this cover. You've got your trade dress, your virgin, your color splash, and your foil. You'll get one of those at random in the mystery box. And stay tuned to the channel because Tom tends to add more and more exclusive as the months go on. Hit ComicTime101.com to secure the mystery mail call today. All right, guys, and it's another DC pick of the week. I don't know what it is, man. I feel like I'm more of a Marvel fan, but on the new comic book day reviews, the DC books tend to get the pick of the week, and I gave it to Batman vs. Robin. This is issue 1 by Mark Waid, Essar, and Belair. Man, I don't know what's a spoiler here or not. This is the return of a character that has been dead for some time in the Batman comics, and it is the Damian Wayne fresh out of the Joshua Williamson run. And this is a magic-based story. So we see at the end why Damian Wayne is acting a little out of character and why it's Batman vs. Robin. Very touching stuff. I think the first half of this book really somber with the storytelling. I love the narration. I love seeing these characters reuniting with each other and trying to figure out if this is real. Is this really this person back from the dead? I mean, it is comic books. I don't really see the reason for the verses yet. Again, just that teaser at the end, but I just thought it was a really well-written comic book. It had great artwork and it had interesting characters that I care about. It didn't really feel like that same Damian Wayne, but again, I think it all makes sense on that last page, and then we'll see where this goes. So those are the new comic books for today, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know which ones were your favorites and what was your pick of the week in the comments down below. Make sure to check out that Indiegogo campaign, and I'll see you guys later today live on Whatnot. Stay minty fresh. Peace. Help save the universe from bad music by picking up a copy from your local comic shop on November 2nd. Check out these amazing variant covers as well. We have 2 from Tyler Kirkham, one of them being a 1/25 ratio. Tony Fleece with the Stray Dogs 1/10, Kevin Eastman with a 1/100, and Boss Logic with the 1/250. Big shout out to JPG from That Spider-Man booth, Street Level Hero, and now Ninja Funk.